Welcome to the lounge. How you guys doing this evening? Hope you guys are doing good. I know it's been a few days since I did a video. I appreciate the love, support. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Let's get it started. There's a lot going on, a lot of news cycle going on. So, I always like to be candid with my audience and everything else like that. So, work got in the way, but I wanted to talk about the debate a few days ago, but because of overtime and all that stuff, I was too tired to actually cut the video. I missed a good cycle and everything. You know, I watched the debate 4 times. I know that's a lot for people to, they're like 4 times. Why'd you watch it 4 times? Because I really wanted to deep dive and get into it and all of that stuff. So, when I watched it 4 times, and they did like a lot of sound bites designed for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, things like that. Because I'm learning this as I'm editing. Now I watch things and I see how they do things, and I realized, hey, they're not far off of what I do. They just do it on a larger scale, more money, more whatever. So, I laughed at it because my last video I did, which it seemed like it would age well. I just probably have to get more support on this particular video because I did a video called "Why Is My Politics Being Booked Like WWE?" And watching the debate reminded me of that. Like the only thing that was missing, as the only thing that was missing through all of this is what they should have did, what they do in wrestling now. They should have just put the championship like right here. They should have had it like this, right? They should have or Kamala Harris, because she's the vice president. She should have walked in with the belt like this, with the microphone on the podium, and they was cutting promos. They was like, oh, economy this, the cats and dogs, C spot run, all that crazy stuff. It was straight like promos. All they needed was a ring. They needed a belt. Nowadays with wrestling, if you watch a wrestling match for a belt, they got a little podium now. They used to not do the podiums, but now they got the podiums where they hold up the belts and all that. So they place it on the thing while they're fighting. Because this is what this presidential race feels like to me. It really feels like that debate felt like a go home show for like the big one, like WrestleMania, Survivor Series, things like that. So that's why I watched it 4 times. So the reason why I'm not deep diving into it, because obviously I missed the train, or I missed the boat, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they were going back and forth. I mean, the promos were good on both sides, if you will. Like I said, not even talking about my opinion. It's just watching it from the outside, watching it from the outside of the matrix, if you will, and seeing things for kind of what it really is. And to me, it just was like, like to me, the moderators, they were like the side wrestlers who helped the main wrestlers and against the person who is the baby face and things like that. So it pretty much was a go home show. It's not that much different. And then, in between time, and the timeline might be off or the timeline might be right. I'm not necessarily sure. That the whole situation in New York City with the feds raiding the commissioner, the mayors, and all that stuff. I guess we stay tuned on that one because that's too much. And then they had the assassination attempt on Trump again. It felt like what are we doing? Let me do a public service announcement, if you will. If you're not a fan of Trump, you should not try to delete him, because all you're going to do is make him a martyr, and you're going to create a power vacuum. I guess you guys don't watch The Godfather or any crime things. Matter of fact, if you're a video game person, the first Spider-Man on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. If you play it, that's what the whole storyline was about. They took out one bad guy, ended up with six of them. Y'all gotta use this instead of using this. Just saying. So you had that. And then let's get into the main event. That Diddy situation, boy. Ooh wee. The whole internet's talking. There's people alive right now talking about the whole Diddy situation. And I'll be honest, like a lot of people that were in the hip hop scene back in the 90s, all of that stuff, we kind of knew that these things were going on. And as crazy as it sounds, I have a story, right? And this is not alleged because I saw this with my own eyes. But you know how they say foresight and hindsight? Foresight at the time, I had a lot of questions. But 2024 today, it made a lot of sense. So, like I said, the only reason why this story is not alleged because I was there. I actually saw this. So, I forgot what year it was, but there was a time where I used to actually be in a Puerto Rican Day parade. I used to be with my friends. He has a dance team. Shout out to Vic. You know, they're doing their thing on the Latin circuit, but he used to get a float for the Puerto Rican Day Parade and all of that stuff. And that was the year. I know the internet sleuths are gonna check the year where it was. There was a Hot 97 float. It was Diddy, Cassie, Busta Rhymes, Rick Ross, and I want to say Fat Joe. Right? These are the people who they slotted for the Hot 97 float. So how they do the floats, right, in the parades in New York City is prior to the parade route, they would actually be on the sides of the street. So like I think the route, if memories, because it's been a long time, if I remember correct, the staging areas were from like 39th Street to 43rd Street, and they started on 44, something like that. But our float was on the same block as the Hot 97 float, as far as like the staging area, because this is where like the people actually take pictures and stuff, because that's our time to take the pictures. Because once we hit the route, and because it's New York City, you pretty much you set up, you march, you go home. That's how they play it. They don't play that stuff, everything like that. So we was on the same block as the Hot 97 float. So that means everybody was running over there trying to take pictures with celebrities, just like we were there too, since we were in the float. So I go over to the Hot 97 float just like everybody else. So, first off, Rick Ross, shout out to you. You had that kush. Like, I think the whole block got hot or whatever, and they weren't even smoking secondhand smoke. You smelt it from like a mile away. Good on you. That your dealer was good. I don't know who he is, whatever. Cool. And then Busta Rhymes, the Busta Rhymes was there. So Busta was just chilling. He was off to the side of the float and everything else like that. And Diddy's being Diddy, whatever. And I think they just started dating, or I don't know how long they were in the relationship. And then Fat Joe's like, he's drinking champagne, he's passing it off, and he's like, yeah, throw the bottle away, blah, blah, blah. But all the girls, because I guess the only female that was there, R&B was kind of a hit going on then, was Cassie. So everybody screaming her name, like, Cassie, Cassie, Cassie. They were excited to see her. And I just remember she was just sitting like this. She didn't say anything. I mean, she kind of smiled. She didn't say anything. She was very subdued, very, very subdued. First off, she's a very tiny lady, but she didn't say much. And I thought it was kind of weird because everybody's kind of like, hey, yeah, Boricua, we had the flags, everything, we ready to go. And she's just sitting there in the middle of a parade about to happen, the High 97 float, music going, Big Pun is playing and all that. She's just quiet. But now you fast forward to 2024 and the lawsuit and all of that stuff. It made a lot of sense. I'm like, wow. So, as far as the other stuff outside the video that everybody saw, and that story I just told, that's my personal account. So it's not alleged. This is what I saw. But the questions I'm about to ask are alleged because now that I have the hindsight. So hindsight, I'm just like, wow. So how long was the abuse truly going for? Like it just didn't seem right or feel right or whatever. I just couldn't understand it. I just figured, okay, but that's the question that's been rattling in my brain since all of this has been coming out because I remember this story. I remember this whole thing, witnessing the whole situation for myself, like seeing that part. And then, so I want to share that story because it's just one of those things. Because now this is all coming out and it's hindsight. So, therefore, there's obviously there's probably a lot more going on. But it's too much news articles, too much TV, too much information to sit and give to every little nook and cranny. So I'm gonna leave that up to you to read all the stories, which ones you like, which ones you don't. Pull this, that. I'm just giving a brief overlay, my thoughts. That's what that is. So they have the one article that I did read, and the reason why I read it because this whole thing, like I said, it shadowed everything that's going on right now. And Cat Williams was absolutely right. This is the year that people getting exposed. He was not lying. Check out the interview on Club Shay Shay. Even Shay Shay got exposed in 2024. If you saw that, no, we're not going to even get into that. But as far as with Diddy, these are my thoughts, right? So for years, you had like Gene Deal. Shout out to him. I do like when they interview him. He's very captivating, very has a lot of details. But and Jack Wright too. Like she's known to be the crazy woman talking about R. Kelly, this, that, everybody else like that. And whether she says alleged or not, they think she's off the deep end. But that's their opinion. That's not mine. But I jokingly thought to myself, I said, when they do all these interviews and they have a lot of details, they have way more details than the average person. Because see the story I just told? I didn't know the extent of what was going on in their private life, but I told the story with the details based off what I saw. These guys got like names and dates and places and things like that. My suggestion to you is y'all need to stay off the radar because Diddy's going to snitch. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that right now because that article that I was talking about reading, they were talking about the food that he's eating. He's not eating the way he normally is eating. He locked down. He's definitely not in Gen Pop. Like let's hope to God he don't get that Epstein package. You know what I mean? So, but it seems like them denying bail and all that stuff. I really believe that, in my opinion, that they're setting him up to tell, and he's probably going to tell. So, you guys running around telling those intimate stories about Diddy, you might get roped up in the feds too. So because I'm gonna show you how the setup goes. Because do y'all remember the first 48? If you remember the show, so. If you don't remember the show, the first 48, they'll try to solve a murder, all that kind of stuff. However, what they would do is they'll put the guy in an interview room, and they be like, yo, Mook Mook, yeah, we know you witnessed that murder, or you know who pulled that trigger. We need to know who pulled that trigger. And Mook Mook be like, nah, man, I don't know what y'all be talking about, yo. I ain't snitching. I ain't telling, right? So they make you sweat it out for a little while, and after a while, you be in an interview room, pass your bottle of water like this. You know what I'm saying? Well, it won't look like this, but pass your bottle of water. You drink it, sip on it, and they're showing you the evidence and all that stuff, and you see what they got on you. Like, now picture the first 48 with the feds. So the feds, they don't just come and arrest you. They sit and do their homework. They do the research, because their conviction rate is in the 90 percentile. That means whoever they get, they going to jail. And then when you go to jail, you got to do 80% of that time. Somebody might correct me, but for the most part, you're doing 80% of that time. So you done so, unless you telling. That's the only way you getting those football numbers shaved off. So after they have you that water, you wet your whistle enough for you to talk, because that's what the water's for. Because when they hold you in a long time, you thirsty, your mouth is dehydrated. So then what they do is they know you stressed out. So they pass you, hey, you want Newport? Yeah, I want Newport. So, obviously this don't look like Newport, but, you be in the interrogation room like this and shit. Like, nah. Like, man, this is stressful. You got all this on me, man. And then you know how they're gonna be telling? They'll take that one more drag out that cigarette. When they see that final piece of evidence, they be like this. Once they do that, they telling. And in the first 48, it be that next segment and everything else like that. They be like, yeah, I saw Pookie. Yeah. And it was Mook Mook. Well, little Mook Mook, because I'm big Mook Mook. And it's going to be Junebug. Yeah, because Junebug, he was out there slanging. I told him not to be out here slanging, because they be watching him and all that shit. And everything else like that. Told him not to be slanging that shit. You know what I mean? And that's the next segment you see. I'm sorry. Let me finish chewing this, because normally I don't. But that's how that works. People gonna snitch for a regular meal and a cigarette. And Diddy snitching. He used to Cristal and what's that drink he be drinking on? Ciroc? Oh no, he ain't gonna be drinking on a Ciroc no more. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole other business deal and whatever. We're not gonna get into that, because that's a lot of allege. And those people high powered, I ain't got the money to pay them lawsuits, so we're not gonna get into it. That's probably a story you're gonna have to ask me offline. I'll maybe tell you the story maybe offline, but we ain't gonna be doing it in this video. But yeah, man. So this has been a long time coming, as they say, And the jokes are writing themselves. Like I said, everybody's online. They joking. They going live. They got content for days. So, of course, I had to get on the content train and everything else like that. So, and then the whole thing with Diddy, once they raided the house and took the phones, just like what they did in New York City with the politicians and all that. Once they take your phones and raid your house, you're going to get that work. So we don't know the outcome or what this is going to be. But my personal opinion is, I feel that all of this is a distraction from the political presidency and things like that. That's what I feel is a distraction, because apparently the presidential stuff, like even if you look at like the news online and all that, it really took a back seat. Like they're like little quiet articles over here, like not for nothing. I usually go with the post because it's easy to flow. It's easy to whatever, just to kind of give you a gist of what's going on. Let me see. I'm gonna refresh. Damn, look at this. Right? Look at that. Look at that. They said that's one article, which is the top, and then you have one, two, three, four. You got four other articles because that's the way the app is set up. And then let's see. They got Trump going to Springfield or whatever. I guess people save your dogs, save your cats. I don't know, whatever. But even then, you would think because that was mentioned in the debate, you would think that would be the top thing. No, this is it. I mean, everybody gonna be waiting online, telling on them. Everybody's gonna come out, and they even had some type of attack or something in Israel, and that didn't even get the top thing. It's all about Diddy, and that's what this is really all about. A lot of these things are distractions. So yeah, even though they're fun, they're entertaining, just realize that there are distractions, and that's what all of these things are. So I'm not gonna keep you too long with this video because before I end this, because I'm gonna do one quick short or whatever, that's gonna be a little fun. But as far as an announcement that I'm going to make, I will be interviewing somebody that's related to, fathers, men, things of that nature. So I'm going to be doing that. That's going to be my first interview per se, or it's probably going to be more of a panel, a discussion kind of thing. But I'm excited about that because, it's kind of taking the channel to the next level and showing what we can do and how we can grow and everything else like that. And I think it's going to be very interesting on how that turns out. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be the next move and everything else like that. So I'm excited for that. Look out for that as well. I'm glad I was able to bring you guys a video and everything else like that. With that said, have a good night. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get the channel growing. Check out my social media stuff. That's where some of my shorts are too. If you're on my social media, click on the link. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get this channel going. Let's get this. Let's make this happen. Thank you. Have a good night.